Welcome to Beyond the Tavern Wall. If you can tell, they were talking about something, I don't know what it is, but it was sounded something gross and
Mhm.
medical-esque, not
Yeah,
like
we're talking about you.
dirty gross. But yeah, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We're excited to have everyone on. Obviously, as always, I got a good topic, great things going for us. I don't know, guys. Do you guys like puzzles?
No, not really.
Yes.
I like it when there's a cat on them.
When there's a cat. Okay, here's a question. We're gonna be talking about puzzles, obviously, chat. I'm gonna pose a question that is about the topic, but also not necessarily about D&D. Why is everything that is mind twisting called a puzzle? But like actual puzzles are more of just putting pieces together, and that's not necessarily mind twisting in the same way.
Braden, you're thinking of jigsaw puzzles. Let's
I
all
guess yes,
Google
they
the
are called
origin of the word
jigsaw.
puzzle.
Someone find me the etymology of the word puzzle while we shout out our socials real fast. And
I've got
follow
it.
us on
I've got it.
Spotify.
It's below.
All right. Yeah,
Here-
put it in
here's
the
from
comments
the,
below. No, let me shout out
Aw.
the socials real fast, and then we can figure out the etymology of puzzles. Thank you guys. Welcome to the podcast again. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you are. Make sure you hit that follow button. At Beyond the Tavern Wall is where you can find us. We'd love to have you guys over there. It's awesome. We love doing the show, so any support that you guys can show us is fantastic over there. All right, now into it. We're talking about puzzles today, chat. And like we said, we're going to figure out the etymology of the word puzzle. Go, Sam.
All right. The word puzzle, it's from the 16th century. It means to bewilder, to perplex, or to confound.
So jigsaw puzzles do not bewilder, perplex, or confound.
I think jigsaw,
Is a
the
terrifying
addition
person
on
inside.
there is just like its own thing.
Okay. So what you're telling me, the only time I get bewildered or profounded is when I can't find the stupid last piece because it fell on the floor and my cat ate it.
Confounded,
Ooh.
yes.
Yikes. Skill issue.
Yeah. Okay. Confounded. That's the word, not profounded. Yeah, puzzles. Okay. So in D&D, puzzles happen all the time. They're on dungeons. They're on walls. They're in your walls. They're in your books. They're everywhere,
Or your
right?
skin.
They're in your what?
Skin?
I heard
Feel that little
foreskin.
itch
I'll be
late at
honest.
night? Those bugs in your skin.
foreskin.
That's what I heard.
Ew.
They're called cockroaches.
They're everywhere. Puzzles are everywhere. And the meme is always that if a DM has no idea what to do, you just open up your first grade puzzle book and you throw it at them, and you're good for the rest of the day.
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
let's talk puzzles about that. Let's talk about that. Why are puzzles so hard in Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, I feel like there's just the additional element of magic that almost kind of makes it feel like you have to overcomplicate everything.
Mm-hmm. I just cast invisibility and walk past everything. Or stuff like that.
I think it's like sensory overload.
How so?
You know, in this, just in the way that, for me, if I'm solving a puzzle or a riddle in real life, I have the context and the background of living in the world, right? Living in the world that I live in, having the experiences that I do. But when you're in D&D, you have to take into account that world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to take into account what's around you. And then also, while you're doing that and you're trying to stay in character, trying to figure out if this thing is going to hurt you, right? I think it's just like overload for your brain a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think puzzles suck. As I think about
That's
it,
a hot take and a half.
there's a lot of mechanics in D&D that I just avoid because of two reasons. I either just hate them or I'm not good at them, like DMing them. And puzzles is one of them. Like, I feel like the only way I would do good at getting a puzzle is if if I had a third party puzzle book that I could just
Mm.
rip something out of and be like, okay, I only like this puzzle. Okay. And I'm going to rip this out and not care about creating my own puzzle because I just typed in uh, how to build a D&D puzzle. And it took me to Reddit. And oh my gosh, it's Reddit. It's not true. Sometimes Reddit has good information because it's people's actual stories. And I think
Yeah.
for D&D, it's a good place to go. This guy wrote a novel on how to create a D&D puzzle.
Oof.
I ain't reading that. And I'm not going to remember jack diddly squat from that. Okay. Just, I think puzzles are dumb, but also they're essential to D&D. We talked about exploring last week. Puzzles are one way you help with exploration, right?
Mhm.
Why? Why are puzzles important in that way, guys? I really don't know. And what can you do to make puzzles more fun and easier to DM? Genuine questions here.
I have two answers for you.
Okay.
I have one
Stop being a
in
little.
in response to what makes it fun. It makes it fun for your party because it gets everyone involved,
hmm
depending on what the puzzle is. And a puzzle doesn't necessarily have to be like a riddle or matching shapes. You could have physical puzzles too. Think
Like
Portal.
chess.
Yeah, think chess, think Portal. How are we going to get this box up there?
hmm
Get your martial characters a chance to do something outside of combat. Answer number two, Braden, that's a skill issue on your part, man. Come on, read
It
that
is.
novel.
No,
Read that
I'm
novel.
dead serious. It is. I do not have the skill of creating puzzles. This guy, literally in like, I don't know where it is. In his thing says, no, by the to toot my own horn here, I'm a graduated game designer. This guy's literally over here. I graduated making puzzles.
Flex.
'Kay.
Jeez.
Like, I'm not. The only thing I have that I really enjoy is doors. And granted, the best thing about doors is D&D players don't know how to open doors. So I'm really good at that.
Biggie, I'm attacking you so hard today.
That's fine.
Yet another skill issue, because did you not want to make a game with us?
Figgy, why didn't you graduate from college? Why did you drop out? I do want to make a game, and problem is I would love to make a game. I just don't know game design.
You could have learned from reading the post.
I could look. This is about D&D puzzles. Not
All the
game design,
resources
okay?
you need are there, Figgy. You're just willfully and intentionally ignoring it and saying, I'm not doing that.
I am. I'll be honest. I'm a lazy mofo.
I don't like it
I
because
got
I
too
won't
much
put the
on my
work in.
plate. Okay, I got too much stuff on my plate
Okay,
to
that's fair.
care about this sometimes. And right now, and like we were talking earlier, I don't got a lot of time, so I could 100% do this, and I probably actually will. Like I want to be better. I just don't. Also, there's another problem I have with puzzles, is that, in my opinion, puzzles take the player out of the character, and it is now the player solving the puzzle. D&D is about the character solving the puzzle. And we've
Mhm.
talked about, I brought it up before when we talked about playing a smarter character or dumber character, or stats that don't match the person kind of deal. It's hard for me to be like, oh, this character with 5 intelligence all of a sudden can solve this PhD level equation or this college degree level equation in real life when they've had no education. And I know we talked about, and I do agree that times idiots can have epiphanies, is a good way to put it.
I was about to
Um,
say some of the dumbest people are the fastest at solving
Yes.
Rubik's cubes.
Yes. That's because
Technically a puzzle.
Yeah. And I know there's that, but there's also that idea of just how do you balance that out as your character, like the difference with that though, Sam, is that there is patterns that you can recognize, kind of deal, with a Rubik's cube. I can train. I don't know how to do a Rubik's cube, but if I train for the next week, I could finish a Rubik's cube in at least 3 seconds. Just kidding. But I could train and learn the algorithm of the Rubik's cube.
Mhm.
If I present to you a puzzle you've never learned before and doesn't have any mechanics of what your idiot character has studied, how are they going to be interacting and doing interacting with the puzzle? And then on the opposite side, if I have a character with a level 20 intelligence, guys, 10 is the average. 10 is your average intelligence. A 20 is like Einstein genius level character. A simple
Jimmy
first grade
Neutron.
math problem, Jimmy Neutron, they're having brain blast 24/7. A simple first grade math problem shouldn't be an issue for them. So how do I as a DM balance that where it's like, oh, actually Johnny Wizard over here knows everything while Jim the Barbarian's a stupid idiot, but Jim the Barbarian figured it out, or Johnny the Wizard should be able to solve this in 5 seconds. That's a problem you have as a DM when it comes to puzzles that I honestly choose to ignore. Also, we don't do dungeons a ton, and there's a lot, as I've again talked about it last week. Done a lot of retrospective on how I DM. I'm not a good DM when it comes down to that, and I'm trying to improve better and better. So these are just things I think about, like what you can do better. How do you balance that? You know, how do you balance the idea of an intelligent character? How do you give the benefit to the intelligent character at the same time, and also keep them in character as a D&D group, or do you just not care because it's all about the game? You know, it's just for the love of the game?
I would argue that whatever their listed status for intelligence, for example, shouldn't be a factor whatsoever. Because I don't think you would take into account someone's low charisma score to give them different social interactions in the game. I mean, look at Hunter's character, for example. He got laid, gosh dang it, and he's got a charisma of like, what, 7?
She's also horny as fetch, so it's fine. It doesn't take long.
So,
just take.
I don't think it should take into account what your player's stats are for the most part. If it's a physical challenge, obviously that's going to make sense. But solving problems isn't just an intelligence thing. It's a persistence and determination thing.
I also kind of view puzzles in D&D as like a mini game. You know, in the sense that we're kind of taking a step back from what is happening in the world a little bit, and we're working together as players, you know? Because when you solve the puzzle, you can easily say, like, together you find a solution. Dumbo character accidentally steps on a plate, and that reveals something, you know? You can easily retroactively say that this is how you solved it, right? But I think it's kind of not great to try to make people solve a puzzle based on their character stats, because if you have somebody playing a barbarian, they don't really get to participate in the puzzle.
Now you're stereotyping all the dumb barbarians. We're both doing it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a
Braden's pulling you into his camp. You're with me.
How dare you? How dare you stereotype like I do, Kendall? I expect better.
I'm gonna make my next barbarian character have strength as his highest, and then intelligence as the second highest.
Constitution is the lowest.
Dude, it's just Professor Hulk.
Yeah, Smart Hulk.
Smulk.
I guess maybe I should clarify, as I'm not necessarily saying that that's what I do, because I do agree that it is just for like, it just needs to get solved kind of deal. So like the players need to come in, use their intelligence to figure it out. And you again learn that no one is above a first grade intelligence when it comes down to it. It's just for me, who is again, we've talked about, me as a DM, I'm very into like, you should be in character, very realistic and all that stuff. Like there is real world consequences to not doing things. Like, so it's hard for me to try to separate those two, because I like the game aspect of it, but I also like your idea of the mini game aspect of it, or it's the game within the game that you need to pull yourself out of kind of deal.
I have a thought, which I think might be the core, or at least the biggest issue with puzzles in D&D, is that most puzzles are going to have a visual element to it. and not
Yeah.
everyone has access to visual elements for their D&D table.
Haley. Oh, sorry.
Well,
I
not even
thought you were going a
imagination.
different direction.
I think you're talking about like literal physical elements.
Yeah,
Like-
not everyone has the same imagination, and that's where a lot of disconnect is going to happen. People are going to mix up where certain things are, and then they're going to argue, and that's why it kind of feels and sounds like people aren't working above a first grade level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you have like something that you can use to solidify where different aspects of said puzzle are. Physically is the best way to do it because we are visual creatures. Then there's just going to be that natural disconnect between players.
Is it in this?
Hey
book? I
guys,
think it
Sam's
might be-
talking a lot today. Can we not let that happen?
No, this is
seems
fantastic,
No,
weird.
this
Sam.
is
You don't
great.
talk. This is great. I better see your
feels wrong.
wavelengths, your equalizer.
Oh, I'll show
in,
you my wavelengths.
No.
Send you
Oh.
my wavelengths, please.
Guys,
respond.
I'm so
Please
sorry. My nose is
respond.
itching really bad. I need to go itch it off screen so people don't think
Itch
I'm
it, go-
picking my nose.
I want to see it though. Can you please itch it on screen?
You're good.
Close up.
No, I need to like go blow my nose or something.
You're good.
I think Hunter, what are your thoughts? Me and Sam have talked a lot. What are your thoughts, Hunter?
I don't know, because personally, I feel like it's so difficult to find a balance. Because I consider myself to be a decently smart person, and I
He's
enjoy
very
a good.
smart. He's being humble.
Shut up.
You should
Hey.
see him talk about Destiny lore.
Talk about Destiny raid mechanics. That's when I become an absolute nerd. But I love solving puzzles. I love being able to figure out how something works. If I'm playing like you said earlier, if I'm playing a barbarian or just some character that has a super low intelligence typically, or if I just design a character that way, I'm gonna be bored as fetch just sitting there like letting people try to figure it out while I'm trying to stay in character and just not do anything. It's so difficult to find that balance, and honestly, I don't even know if there should be a balance with it. That yeah, you can easily just in retrospect be like, okay, you guys came to the solution this way. There's gonna be, I feel like there's going to be some aspect of metagaming in puzzles solving like 99% of the time. Like
Yeah.
unless the DM is just straight up being like, this character gets to make an intelligence check with advantage since they have a higher score, and this person can make it with a low, like, disadvantage intelligence check since they have a lower score, and then let that kind of give them some hints and make it feel like everybody's participating in some sort of way.
That brings up another thing I have a problem with. Well, like me myself, not like in general. Like,
Mhm.
how do you do hints? You know, like how do you?
Oof.
Because not only do you have to come up with a puzzle, you have to come up with a hint that
Mhm.
doesn't give away the puzzle, but gives enough information to help them along. You know.
So from it's again, it's that element of trying to find a good balance of not giving away too much. Because you want your players to work for it. Let's be honest. You want them to work for it, and maybe you want to kill some extra time during the session. I feel like it's depending on how you make the puzzle, either having them be like drawn to like a certain object in the room that seems important, or maybe like a certain phrasing in a riddle, some sort of thing that is like this keeps coming to your attention, but not being like, oh hey, you get the distinct impression to go and take this thing apart and or go and do this.
Mm-hmm. I think those hints can also like help the idea of if I know Sam, you're saying don't worry about stats. If you do worry about stats, someone with a higher intelligence kind of you can say figures that out right away and they
Mhm.
don't have to roll for it.
I think
And
more of
then-
what I was saying is don't let
Mhm.
low stats be the inhibitor of
Yeah.
doing it.
And I think that I don't think you should. And I should also agree with that. I don't necessarily think a low stat. We brought it up in our I think it was called our you're not smarter than your character or something like that.
Yeah.
But you brought up Grog. Grog could figure out. Grog is a character in campaign 1 of Critical Role, known for being stupid, has like a 4 intelligence, which is like the lowest you can be before becoming unsentient. So like the dumbest you can get, and he still figured out things, but he did it basically through being stupid. Like he just did something, he tried something because he's stupid and it worked, kind of deal. And I think it shouldn't, and that's what you're saying. I think Kendall was saying that you retroactively how you figured out, or Sam, one of you two were saying it. That's how you retroactively. Oh, the dumb person figured out, and they could be like, "Oh, well, I actually did it this way," and figure it out. So, but if a higher intelligence, you can give more hints to, or if they make a higher, even if your dumb barbarian makes a natural 20 intelligence roll, he can figure it out, and all of a sudden he's hyper fixated on this line of the riddle.
It's lazy eye just goes into focus.
Yeah.
Oh.
his two neurons connect together and he can finally think. So do you guys think with this, like, puzzles should only have one solution, or should there be multiple solutions to a puzzle to potentially speed up the first grid level puzzle?
Braden, if you ever put a puzzle in front of us where we're trying to open a big wooden gate, I'm going to burn down the gate.
That's the thing is,
if it's a stone door, stone shape, or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm. And that's what Hunter brought up about magic and how difficult it is to create a puzzle with magic. Because you could, and I think that's totally viable. If the DM, though, wants to make sure you do this puzzle just to kill time, honestly, you want to know what I would do? Anti-magic field.
Got him.
Your magic doesn't work on the stone, or the wall is 13 feet thick. Good luck using stone shape all the way down, or whatever. Like,
I think there's a cantrip that lets you dig a 5x5 hole through stone.
It's called dig. It's an HM. Just kidding.
Brother is making a Pokemon reference in me.
In 2026, sheesh, dude.
Vampire anniversary, bro. Just come out recently again. So.
Yeah, you're right. It's the 30-year thing. So,
if you are worried about your players running on a first grade level, just give them the Nathan Drake approach. They have a journal with pretty much all the answers in there, except for just that last important piece that they need to figure out.
Okay, I'm going to ask this question. Is it wrong for a DM to throw a puzzle at players if they don't have anything planned?
No, do it. You're the boss.
Nah. I think it's funny.
You went to bed in the tavern, all of a sudden you're in jail. It's an escape room episode.
As a former teacher, Bill Nye was my puzzle.
Dude, I'd still be distracted by Bill Nye. I straight up blood. Dude, I love Bill Nye.
Yeah, no, like if I had classes that were behind, or classes that were ahead or classes that were behind, and I needed to get the classes that were behind caught up.
Bill Nye.
It's time for Bill Nye, guys.
Yes. And Mythbusters.
And Mythbusters, yeah.
Yes.
Mythbusters.
Mythbusters.
So it's just a class time of Bill Nye, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about adding a timer to a puzzle?
Oh, yes, please.
That's stressful.
I think it's fun. I think it adds a good amount of pressure. And I mean, honestly, usually that is going to spark a little bit more metagaming to happen as your entire party starts to freak out and be like, okay, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Think quick. But I mean, it makes things seem a little bit more... I don't want to say realistic, but I can't think of another word for what I'm trying to describe. I guess it's time sensitive. Like, if you're in a dungeon, there's supposed to be a good element of danger there.
Stressful.
These are supposed to be dangerous environments that not anybody can just walk into and spend 5 hours just sitting in this room trying to figure out a puzzle. There's going to be some kind of element that is like, okay, obviously you're not skilled enough to be here. Expire.
I think it'd be interesting. Before I make that comment, I want to go towards that. Expire. That's messed up, though. Like, imagine, like, again, like D&D is
these places are probably pretty messed up.
And I don't agree. I do feel. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna diss on Harry Potter for a second, okay?
Ooh.
Do it.
Oh, I know where you're going with this, and honestly, I do kind of agree.
Why did Voldemort lose to a bunch of kids?
Yep.
He had years to plan. He has been planning for years upon years, and then all of a sudden he loses to a bunch of kids. Okay,
Because he
They're
didn't know
cute.
Harry was a Horcrux.
there's
Can I-
more
can
to it though. That he kept losing to a kid. Like he go everywhere, and all of a sudden these masterfully trained wizards of the dark arts couldn't beat a freaking guy in first grade.
Can I also say one more thing about Voldemort as a villain?
Mm.
He doesn't know how to do anything without magic, and that's what his big problem is. He
Um,
could have dealt with Harry in hundreds of other ways, but he just kept trying to use magic, which they could use magic to stop magic.
So the reason I bring this up is not because to diss on Harry Potter. That is, I like Harry Potter. That's just one of the things you're just like. If you listen to Brandon Sanderson's lectures on writing, he actually brings that up a lot. He's like, Harry Potter's really good. Why does the Dark Lord always lose to a bunch of first graders, like I guess high schoolers or middle schoolers, you know? But the reason I bring that up is the idea of what Hunter was saying. These people who are building this stuff are messed up. They're not here to like, oh, I want people to get out. No, they're there to
No.
kill you. Like the
We
people who build like,
having fun puzzle.
like think of the Monday Night Group. The rich. I know we bring up the ritual a lot, but I
Mm.
think it's for me. It's an action story of this. This guy's been planning for hundreds of years. Bahamut was planning for hundreds of years of how to get out. Why does a random group of adventurers who just so happen to fall into this plot? How like it's going to be hard for them to destroy it because they don't know what's going on. Compared to, oh, hey, by the way, I'm doing not all. I guess not. I'm already going to counterpoint myself after this as I think about this, but like a smart big bad evil guy, a BBEG, is going to have backup plans upon backup plans to make sure he wins, kind of deal. Not all. Here's my counterpoint to myself. Not all. They're not all smart. Sometimes they don't have these backup plans. Like,
Mhm.
and that's how they fail. Is they're so tunnel visioned. They don't understand that. Sorry, now we're distracted. Anyway, that's
I
what
like that you bring that up because everyone
Mhm.
does think that villains know everything about their own plans. They're kind of winging it like we are through life.
the world
Leave
is
them
held
alone.
together by duct tape, dude. It doesn't matter who
Leave the
you are.
villains alone. Doofenshmirtz is doing his best.
Bro's just
Doofenshmirtz
vibing.
is not a villain. Doofenshmirtz
Hey,
literally
yes,
has
he
the
is.
most tragic backstory. Okay,
He's a
He's a
villain.
Parents
villain, but
were
that
not his
doesn't mean he's
first.
bad.
he's not a villain, man. He's my heart. He has my
Hey,
heart.
He's a villain, but he's not a bad guy.
There we
Exactly.
That's
Maybe a
what
bad
you're
guy,
trying
but
to
not
get
a
across.
villain. No,
No, it's
he's
the
a
other way
great
around.
father. He's a great father.
Oh, he's a fantastic
Fantastic
father.
father. Jinx.
He's an
He didn't-
antagonist.
That's probably the best word because he's not necessarily the things he wants to do is not necessarily bad. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to
Shape
turn
of
off
trouble.
all ice cream machines, and then they'll have to come to me. I turned into Mort for
He's
a
a
second.
capitalist.
He's a
Dang it.
darn it. He
Good
is
for
a
him.
villain.
Brendan Lee Mulligan, right? Sorry.
Brendan Lee Mulligan pops into our podcast. Ah!
gosh.
Well, you know, if we ever get Brendan Lee Mulligan in, we should just have an episode on capitalism. Not,
Oh, God.
and we just let him go off and just like,
It's now
and that's
we're
why it's good
him
for D
talking.
and D. And we end the podcast right there.
Mm.
Not to get political. We're just talking. I think these under pressure moments, though, I don't like that because I don't think you should. Maybe I don't. I like it, but I also, what a lame way to die.
So I believe there's two ways to go about it, and it depends on how you want to do it as a DM. First and
Mhm.
foremost, you can give them a certain amount of rounds. You can be like, hey, you have 2 minutes. You'll get an action each round to kind of start putting things together, almost kind of like going into combat. The other thing you can do is just get like a timer or something going and be like, hey, here's your timer, here's what you got, how much you've got to figure it out, go. And it doesn't necessarily mean that like, oh, that timer's up, they're gonna instantly die. Like, hey, if the room is filling up with water, now you have to go into the drowning rule set. How long is your character able to hold their breath for? When do they start drowning? Like, there's a lot of different ways that you can go about it, but having some way to kind of put the pressure on for them to make their way through the puzzle instead of spending like 3 hours in your session banging on a door, not really sure how to get through. Because I've talked with a couple people that have played D&D with friends and family and whatnot, and there's a very dear friend of mine who she doesn't play D&D like a ton. She just plays it with her family because she likes to spend time with her family, but she hates the puzzles because it's them just sitting and doing nothing and just getting nowhere for like a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so putting the pressure to kind of get through it, I think, is healthy.
Mm-hmm. I more wonder if you have to do like a 3-hour timer, even though in game it's
For
gonna
each
be like
door.
30 seconds or whatever,
Mhm.
just so that, because if it's a more difficult puzzle and it takes like, you couldn't, in my opinion, you couldn't, unless it's like easy puzzles, you couldn't do like 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I feel like if it is a pressure, like we'll call it I'll call it pressure gauge puzzle. I don't know. Um, you have to give them an out, an easier out to a point. I don't know. I just feel like Hunter. I
Mm-mm.
just
Mm-mm.
like. Am I going to, as a DM, be like, "Hey, you guys have 5 minutes to figure out this puzzle in real life." Set it down in front of them, and they just die. You've got to think of the whole campaign overall, like
Mhm.
and all that stuff. And I don't necessarily think it's bad. I just don't I think I don't disagree. I think that's okay. But I'm also just like, like the story itself just ends right there.
I think me saying like 5 minutes is a little harsh. You've
Mhm.
got to kind of take into like perspective realistically how long it can take them
Yeah.
to solve the puzzle, but you still don't want them to just sit there and dilly dally. You want them to be working on it and working together as a team to solve it.
You want to
Like an
give them
escape room.
yes. You want to give them a
One of those,
chance.
jeez.
Mhm.
Is what it is. You can't just be like, you have 3 minutes to solve this puzzle, and I know for a fact it takes 20 minutes. Like,
Mhm.
you have to give them a chance, is what it is. That's the word I was looking for.
Crack Enigma in
Yeah,
5
here's
minutes.
the Enigma code. Actually, what you got to do is go on Batman Arkham, one of the Arkham games, and find all of the
Oh
Riddler enigmas.
gosh.
Okay, good luck. Here's Batman Origins, and you have to figure out every single. Okay, for those who don't know, there's like hundreds of them, and each individual one is a riddle in and of itself. And then you have to like specific items and bring specific stuff. It would take forever. It takes so long to do them.
It's
The reward for
wild.
doing that.
The
I don't know,
reward is
because I
usually you
never
get to go and
finished them.
capture the Riddler. I think I've done all the Riddler puzzles in all the games except for Arkham Knight, which is the only one I haven't played yet. But
Mhm.
from what I know, Arkham Knight, you basically just find him. It's like a super short, like quick time event or boss fight, and it's over.
I was
And
like
it's
the
like
shadow,
300 puzzles in
the
Arkham
shadow
Knight.
of
it's not worth
Mordor.
it.
No, it's not.
It's like the Shadow of Mordor ending.
Oh gosh,
Quick time
yeah.
event done.
Blech.
Yeah, it's goaded. Don't do that. If you have a puzzle, don't make it just a quick time event. Okay, that's lame. How can puzzles be used for storytelling?
Input lore, because the thing that immediately comes to mind for me, especially as I was being like, okay, how can this be used? Is I thought about the one shot, like the Greek mythology one shot that Haley ran for us. That we kind of had that moment where we had to put together the stories of some of these other Greek mythos heroes,
Mhm.
Icarus, Prometheus, and all these ones, and kind of make connections, being like, hey, these are people that made great sacrifices, that like just these great names, and recalling their stories and being like, oh, this is more
Mm-hmm.
story about this land and what's happened here.
Mm-hmm. We can shoot back to Kendall talking about the diary last
Mhm.
episode.
Mhm.
You can have a cryptic diary that talks about how Helen hates Jenny,
Hmm.
and then Helen's dad is also a vampire, but it's just mentioned subtly.
Yeah, just once.
Mhm,
My
just
dad ate
once.
another neighbor again.
I can't
that
believe him. He's
actually-
so
Who's gonna ask me
embarrassing.
to prom now?
My dad ain't my boyfriend.
Honestly, that kind of brings up another point that I didn't think of before. I don't feel like necessarily a puzzle has to be solved all in one go. It could be something that you kind of bring together, like the journal, the diary, whatever you want it to
A
be.
box.
A box. It's something that you
You
slowly
opened
crack
it.
over time. You slowly start to put together the pieces as you travel, as you have downtime,
Hmm.
and it could
The-
just go nowhere.
In Hellraiser, the Lament configuration is a puzzle box that summons the Cenobites. In Dead by Daylight, when you off topic, in Dead by Daylight, when you get the box and you solve it and he teleports to you, he says, "The box, you opened it. I came." And everyone laughs.
Mm. Checks out.
Yeah, and they okay. Really side note, Behavior, the creators of Dead by Daylight, removed that line. There was community outrage where they brought it
really?
back.
I
I mean, I don't
believe
blame him. That's hilarious.
They're a bunch of pervs, okay?
Michael, I can't believe you came.
Gosh.
My mind's
it's
perverted. I can't
wild.
use that word anymore. And welcome to the D&D podcast about. Never mind.
This is
Nope.
normal
just
for
kidding.
D&D.
You're right,
I
guys.
dare you to find one D&D session that doesn't have one sex joke in it. It's
If
not
you guys
possible.
are not telling sex jokes in your D&D campaign, are you playing D&D? That's the real puzzle.
Some
Okay?
people play D&D with their kids. So
Disney has a lot of innuendos.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's
It's
got to be an
true.
innuendo somewhere.
Let's talk about Shrek.
Yeah, no, that's DreamWorks, but
Oh man.
I watched Zootopia too. They were talking about 3 ways and 4 ways in that show, okay?
Really?
The beaver was like talking about 3 ways, okay? Anyway, off topic.
Wow.
The puzzle is how we got. Actually, I know how we got down there, and that's my fault. Um, what's a good puzzle? Let's just say that right now. What puzzle are you guys wanting to see in a D&D that would be fun but also challenging for you guys?
I like riddles. Riddles are fun.
Mm.
Okay, now here's another one. Are riddles overused in D&D for D&D puzzles?
I don't know. I don't really feel like they are, but at the same time I don't feel like I can't say that they aren't. Because they're a common thing, like because there's a lot of people that don't want to get into like the super intricate mechanics of being like, oh, you pull a lever and it does this, you step on a plate and does that, like you have to coordinate at the exact same time to do this. Sometimes it just simply you want to be like, I want you to think about this wording, figure out the solution, go.
So you're telling me not everyone wants a Destiny raid for their
I
puzzles?
wanted. Okay, is
You
it
want me-
horrible that
you
I've thought
can't-
about designing like a BBEG fight with Destiny, almost like raid
I
mechanics?
want
built
that.
in?
That is the
That sounds fun.
kind of mechanics I want in a puzzle.
Oh,
Where I have to be like, these symbols go here, they coordinate to this. For some reason, this person has this status effect now, and they're the only ones that can do damage to the boss while everyone else is killing ads. But you also have someone running to the signs to find the light in the far corner that matches the symbol of the status effect that appears on Jimmy John Joe Beans, you know? Like,
oh, dude,
I
you
think
love
that
the
would be
Vow of the
so
Disciple
fun.
raid. You would love
Okay.
Vow of the Disciple.
I would love Hunter. I want to get back into Destiny because I would love to do the raids. They just have changed everything, and I don't got money for this crap. Okay. When we did the raids, they were so fun.
King's Fall, bro.
I think riddles suck in D&D. I think they are overused. Every single, at least for me, every single puzzle I've done, I think riddles are fun. I just think they're a lame way to do D&D puzzles.
I'm going to throw it back to what I said earlier. That has a huge visual aspect to it. A riddle's really the only way you can give a puzzle without props. Effectively.
I think that's fair to say, yeah.
That way no one's confused by placement or anything like that.
Mm.
Because he's kind of going to that visual element, especially with a puzzle that kind of is so focused on the element of discovery and putting together pieces. As a DM, like there's only so much that you're gonna like want to describe, and if you don't have that visual element for your players to see, it becomes that much harder for them to solve the puzzle, and you
Yep.
just end up being there stuck for hours and hours and hours.
Mhm.
What about you, Kendall? What do you want in a D&D puzzle?
That's a good question. I like the physical mechanic ones, like you said, like the symbols and like this needs to line up here or something like that. But I also do love a good riddle. In my mind, I associate riddles with more ancient beings.
Oh, yeah, like a sphinx or something.
Yeah, like a
You need a
sphinx
sphinx or
or
yeah.
something. And also because riddles are just really more prominent in more ancient texts. I feel like we don't really have a riddle society culture anymore, if that makes sense.
The
Because
only puzzle we
probably
have. Sorry, go ahead.
probably because we have so many forms of entertainment, and back then it was like, what about a riddle, lads? And they're like, oh, what?
What's once in a minute,
Enjoy your
twice in a
time.
moment, and never in 1,000 years? Oh, well, a lot of it was reading,
Yeah.
So like putting a riddle on paper is easier to do than a
Yeah.
full-on puzzle. Probably cheaper to print, all that stuff. So therefore, you have more riddles than you would have a huge visual aspect to it.
Yeah, and even before we
Mm.
had the written language, it was just an oral game, But yeah, I just associate that with more ancient beings, and then with like a more mechanical one. That's very dwarven to me.
Yep, Dwarven
Yeah, I just
or Alien almost.
ooh, or
You could do like
that's
an
a good one.
Alien.
Mm-hmm.
One named Ralk. An
I
alien
don't
named
understand.
Ralk.
Are you referencing something?
Pronounced Rolk. Thank you.
I know I said Ralk on purpose because I didn't want to get copyrighted
No,
by
yeah.
Bungie. I was wrestling Destiny. No, I agree with that,
Mm.
Kendall.
Oh,
I
I
think.
thought you guys were talking about Hercules.
Oh yeah, good. No, that's
Hated that
Garden of
guy.
Salvation. They don't talk about that one.
Ooh.
No, yeah, that was Garden. Anyway, was that Garden of Salvation?
It's the Lightfall expansion. It's
Yeah.
not
Okay.
a
Sorry, I got
puzzle, right?
distracted. I that actually is a good point. Depending on, I guess it depends on how your culture of your ancient societies work too. Because maybe
Mm.
in your world, your ancient societies were more mechanical, and now whatever it may be. But that is a good point to bring up as well. Is looking at, and when you do a puzzle, you shouldn't just do a puzzle to do a puzzle. Make sure it works in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like make sure it makes sense. If you're in an old ancient ruin, they shouldn't have modern technology of some sort.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more just pulleys and levers, and simple machines of that. Or if you're in a more modern dungeon, make it more modern technology like that.
An
So I think
iPad.
give them an iPad, and have them play with Talking Tom, which is terrifying if you think about it. Just like the cryptid in my corner over there. You see that, guys?
Hi, Steve.
But yeah, Steve is back there. It's crazy. He's over here like, I am Steve the whole time.
That's crazy.
No, I think that's a very smart, very needed thing to say, Kendall. Thank you for the idea of ancient and how and looking at when a puzzle needs to get put in.
Okay, good. Because after
Mhm.
I said that, I was like, that didn't contribute anything to the conversation.
It was perfect. No, I think it
Okay.
did because you throw puzzles in just for the sake of things.
Mhm,
Make sure it at least works in the context of what you're doing.
mhm.
You know. Also, it's the last point that I did just barely read on Hunter's outline. Does it tell things about an ancient civilization or the designer? Hunter's thinking about that.
Mhm.
So, did you read that, and that's why you brought it up? Are you
Oh,
reading the
no.
outline, Kendall?
I mean, yeah, I did.
Yeah,
But
way to go.
yeah, but also it just made me think of like the labyrinth, The labyrinth was an
Daedalus, baby.
incredibly complicated maze, right?
Mhm.
Created by
Mhm.
Daedalus, and Daedalus was a genius, right? So
Contain the Minotaur, baby.
to
It's
contain
a
the
D&D
Minotaurs.
challenge for you DMs. Run a maze.
Oof.
I can tell you, just play either what is it called? The Mad Mage of the Mountain or whatever it's called, or Tomb of Horrors. Those are just completely mazes and dungeons. Mage Dungeon. Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage is what it's called.
Okay.
Or Tomb of Horrors is just straight up puzzles and maze. And if I were to play Tomb of Horrors with you guys, you would never touch anything again because that is literally like just to kill you. Yeah. So,
Heck yeah.
puzzles, they're great. They're fun. I should get better at them, and you guys have called me to repentance today. All right, especially Sam at the beginning of the stinking episode.
Jeez.
Gosh,
Screw
thank
you.
you.
Catch your throat.
I'm
Figgy,
sorry, you
you don't
literally said I
read?
don't like them, but that's because I don't want to put the work into it. I
Figgy.
think it's stupid and I hate it, and it's just too much work.
Can I not
can't
hate
stand
things?
for that negativity, Braden.
Can I not hate things? Okay.
No, you haven't been inducted into the Order of Hatred yet.
Shoot, I'm trying to get there. I'm hoping one day.
You're too
I thought I
jolly.
was. I'm not a happy person.
He's
no.
whimsy maxing.
Fuck. Oh, don't. No. Out.
Oh, gosh.
Oh gosh, I hate that word. It's
Whimsy.
worse than 6-7. Maxing. That's what I hate. I think it's dumb.
I hear it all day, every day.
Can we
It's
talk
terrible.
about? Can we bring up next episode? Not be about D&D at all, but just how language and culture evolves, and as you get older, things get stupider. But also, you just look back at the things you say and realize they were stupid too. I said swag growing up, guys,
Heck yeah.
and I still say dope, and I still think those are cool. So then I make
Some-
fun of people for saying maxing.
I still like get cringe jolts in my body when I remember I used to say legitly.
Yep.
Legitness.
Legitly.
That was legitness.
That
And
was
that's-
legitness.
That's the true puzzle of culture and life. And
Language.
Dungeons and Dragons is language. Thank you guys so much for coming out to the podcast. Appreciate you guys. If you're not following us on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere you can find us, we're at Beyond the Tavern Wall. Make sure to hit that, rate 5 stars, comment on the episode. And I want to know this episode. We want to know this episode, not me, but all of us want to know the best puzzle you guys have had in your D&D campaigns. Comment in the comment sections below. We'd love to see that. If you have any questions or comments, suggestions for episodes, you can reach out to us at beyondthetavernwall@gmail.com or on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll make sure to check those out. As always, the best way to support the podcast is by word of mouth. You going out, sharing the podcast with your friends, family, dinner partners, the random stranger across the street that's yelling at you to get off his lawn, share it with them. That'd be wonderful. It'd be perfect. And to help you guys with that, we have a side quest by the wonderful and fantastic Hunter. What is the side quest?
Oh, you're gonna share this podcast with somebody who is not smarter than a 5th grader.
If you know someone
Everyone I know.
who is not smarter than the 5th grader, share the podcast with them. Thank you guys so much for coming out to the tavern. We will catch you back here next Wednesday. Have a good night, everyone.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye.